Oh, hello, 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 my friends. Scotty J here, back again with another episode of 9 Hours, 9 Persons, 9 Doors. Now, last time, our group of Lotus, Santa, June, and Junpei searched the cabins, eventually finding a Mars key, and were able to get out of the first room. However, we found ourselves behind a grate with another, only one door open for us, so we're going to pop on in and see what we can do. Let's go! There was only one door left. Well, looks like we don't have any choice. Yeah, sure does. Well then, let's open it. Junpei grabbed hold of the knob and quietly pushed the door open. He entered, slowly, trying to take in as much of his surroundings as he could. The others followed shortly. Oh, so it's a kitchen. Santa did not look pleased. What were you expecting? Isn't it obvious? The exit. I was hoping there'd be a way out of here. Oh, you really think it'd be that easy? Yeah, I know. Still. As they talked, Lotus headed deeper into the room. Until at last, she stood in front of a door. If we can just get through this door, we should come out the other side of that grate we saw earlier. But don't we need a key for that? Sorry, I guess that wasn't very constructive. Neither Junpei nor Lotus looked terribly happy. Junpei dug the ship map from his pocket and spread it out in front of him. As he did... Hey! What's that? Huh? Oh yeah, I guess I forgot to tell you. I found this a little while ago. It's a map of B-Deck. Before Junpei could finish, Lotus snatched the map away from him. She ran her fingers across it, muttering to herself. I knew it. See, look. Junpei did as he was told. Santa and June moved over to look at the map as well. See? We came in here. If we go out there, then we'll be on the other side of the grate. With her finger, Lotus traced a path on the map. Hey, look at that path. She was right. Satisfied that she'd been correct, Lotus folded the map and handed it back to Junpei. He took it and slid the valuable piece of paper back into his pocket. There's a card reader on the right side of the door. Then that means the key card is somewhere in here, right? That seems most likely. All right, we know what we need to do then. Let's get moving. First all I say, we split up and look for clues. Okay. Solid Scooby-Doo reference there, Junpei. All right. And welcome to the kitchen with some groovy tunes for us to rock out to. Let us begin. Waha! Look at these plates. These 9 plates look pretty expensive. Oh, they're plates for appetizers. Remember, appetizers usually come on square plates. Okay. Well, excuse me, princess. 1, 2, 3. Oh, there's 10 of these. If you flip these over, they look like hats. The middle is super deep for a plate. They're soup plates. They're made that way so the soup doesn't spill. If we ever get out of here, you should treat yourself to a nice dinner out. What makes you think a poor college student like me has money to do something like that? Poor Junpei. I think there are 15 of these plates. I'm assuming they're for seafood. How the hell can you tell that? They look just like any other plate from the 99-cent store. If you ever take a lady out to dinner, you're going to embarrass yourself. I feel sorry for June. Why the hell are you bringing up June? The lady doth protest too much, methinks. You are not terribly subtle. We're getting roasted by Lotus here. There's a bunch of tiny little wavy ridges on this plate. Those are plates for serving meat. Ugh, you really are ignorant, aren't you? Come on, it's not like I need to know this crap. Jeez. Oh, what do we got over here? There's a voucher at the end of the counter. This voucher doesn't match the number of plates on the table. It says appetizers 9, meat dish 10, soup A, seafood dish F on the voucher. And the plates on the table are 9 appetizer, 16 meat, 10 soup, 15 seafood. Maybe they're using hexadecimal here. And hexadecimal is... It's a number system that goes 8, 9, A, B, C, D, E, F, 10, 11. You're familiar with base 10, right? That's the normal system of numbers. The base 10 equivalents for hexadecimal numbers would go like this. A equals 10, B equals 11, C equals 12, D equals 13, E 14, F 15. And then 10 is 16. The 10 becomes 16 in base 10. I know it sounds strange, but you can think of it as just 6 letters added to the normal number system after 9. A10, B11, C12, D13, E14, F15, 1016, and so on. I think I get it. Well, alright, good to know. Hexadecimal's a thing. What we got over here? Wow! This pot looks like it's made out of silver. I bet drinking tea from this pot would be really yummy. Spending a day off with June drinking tea. Could such a day ever happen? Jumpy? Oh, nothing. We don't really need hot water, so we should be moving on. And this corkboard over here? It's a note. It's got a bunch of stuff written on it, but it doesn't look like a code or anything like that. Okay, I guess nothing then. Hey. There's so much cheese. Hey, there's something behind this cheese. You're right. Why don't we move some of the cheese? All right, guys, time to move it. June and I need to look behind you. Hey, there's a little green bottle back there. Oh, it's a bottle of oil. Interesting. Pour cheese. Anything of note over here? Oh, hey, look at that. A rusty knife. I don't think we'll be able to use it while it's like this. The knife seemed important, Junpei thought, but it wasn't going to be much use the way it was. It's futile. Futile? You know, a waste, useless, pointless. Any particular reason you wanted to bring that up? Oh, no reason, really. I was just thinking about futility. She wasn't making much sense. Junpei tried rephrasing his question. Why were you thinking about futility? At last, she answered. Well, it has something to do with the Titanic. The Titanic? Yep. Have you ever heard the story of that the sinking of the Titanic was predicted? I haven't heard of that before, June. No, I haven't. What is it? In 1892, 14 years before the Titanic sank, a novel was published. It was called Futility. It was written by an American novelist named Morgan Robinson. The story was about a big cruise ship colliding with an iceberg and sinking. Of course, if that was the only similarity, then there wouldn't really be any reason to mention it. It wasn't, though. The name of the ship, its nationality, course, departure time, size, displacement, maximum speed, number of passengers and crew, the number of lifeboats, even the location of the accident itself and the cause, and the location of the damage. Everything matches the Titanic almost exactly. It was almost as if he'd seen the whole thing happen. But this book was written 14 years before the Titanic sank. But that's not all. It wasn't just futility that predicted the sinking of the Titanic. There were 2 other similar stories written by a man named William Thomas Stead. Both of them before the accident. One in 1886 and the other in 1892. Stead wrote 2 stories that had striking similarities to the Titanic disaster. In one, 2 ships collided, and many of the passengers died because there weren't enough lifeboats. In the other, a ship collided with an iceberg and sank. I don't know, I mean, I'll give you that it seems a little weird, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't too uncommon for ships to hit icebergs back in the day, or even other ships. Right. I knew you'd say that. But what if Stead had some sort of special powers? To be more specific, what if he had the ability to do automatic writing? What? Automatic writing? Wait, are you talking about that thing where someone says they're possessed by a spirit? And then they write a bunch of stuff without knowing what they're writing? Yes. What do you mean, yes? That stuff's a load of bull. But, Jumpy, you said you believe in curses. Oh, come on, that's totally different. Okay, so let's say, hypothetically, that automatic writing isn't a total load. These guys still couldn't have predicted the sinking of the Titanic. When this Stead dude wrote this thing, nobody had died on the Titanic yet. So if automatic writing is about being possessed by spirits of dead people, who the hell possessed him so that he could write this stuff? That's not it. What's not it? Stead wasn't possessed by a spirit. He was doing the possessing. Huh? What are you smoking? William Thomas Stead was a passenger on the Titanic. He just wrote down what he saw with his own eyes, 20 years before it happened. He decided it was probably best to say nothing. What June was saying was insane and utterly absurd, and if he tried to take what she was saying seriously, he'd go mad. Junpei smiled uncomfortably. Well, why don't we talk about this some other time, okay? Uh-huh. Oh, but... Her voice trailed off, and she glanced at the floor, troubled. Tap, tap. Junpei tapped June gently on the shoulder, and awkwardly reached around her to pick up the knife from the box. That scene probably looks really odd. Anyway, rusty knife. Excellent. Glad we have a rusty knife now. There's so much stuff in here. A whole lot of cans. This is probably a pantry. Well, sweet. Anything of note over here? Oh, there's milk in here. Milk in an iron barrel. Judging by the rust, it's probably really old. Maybe we shouldn't open it then. I don't think it'd be a pretty sight. Interesting. Well, all right. Don't say that June's nuts. We might say that June's a little nuts. A trash can. There's nothing inside of it, though. Well, better than being full of rotten food, I suppose. You're right, Santa. You're right. Damn it, there's nothing in here. Hey, Santa, digging through the trash really suits you. What the hell did you say? Listen, lady, I did you a favor. I knew you'd just piss and moan, so I did it for you. Oh my. I don't recall asking you to do anything. I ought to throttle you. Excuse me. Does it feel colder in here? Maybe this table is for preparing food. There are plates everywhere. A sink. It's got water in it. There's a couple plates in there too, but I don't think they're gonna help us much. Oh hey! Whetstone. Can I combine this with das knife? Maybe I use the whetstone to sharpen the knife. The blade of the knife is getting sharper by the second. Should be able to cut something pretty good with this. Sweet. What do I need to cut? Oh, there's a big old sizzling thing. Alright, I'm going to. Did you think this was all part of Zero's plan? Probably. Kind of hard to believe that there's a chef on board somewhere. Huh, interesting. Wonder what this drawer is. You see the metal grate on top of the grill? They make it like that so that the fat and juices can drip off the meat while it cooks. Oh, interesting. Looks like there's an area under the plate. Under the plate opens up. No, you can't. I already checked. It's sealed shut. I think that's where the coal goes? Okay, so we can't turn that grill off then. A rolling pin, perhaps? Oh, I can't play with a rolling pin. Sage. What is this? Little box? Okay. I don't know any sort of code to use yet, so I guess we'll have to wait there. It's only a partition. There's nothing else worth noting here. Okay. All we've got here is a pot and a frying pan. Oh, and a pressure cooker. Well, I guess we could use some of these as weapons? What kind of idiot are you? Are you gonna run around holding that thing while you're looking for the dead? Hey man, it's just a joke. Why are you so serious? Some bottles of seasoning in here. Okay, well that's the door we're looking to get out with, and that is the one we came in. Now we're back at the plates again. What about this door? It's a bolt. It's really rusty. Will this even open? We don't know until we try. Let's give it a shot. All right, see if we're gonna come out. Damn. No dice. Well, we got that oil, thankfully. This bolt is rusted in place. Won't budge. Oh, of course. Maybe we put some oil on it. Hey, just a little bit of oil and... Come on, you son of a bitch. Whoa! Ha! Yes! Gotcha, you little bastard. You did it, Jumpy. Oh, you're so smart. Goodness gracious. As Junpei walked into a room, a blast of cold air washed over him. Almost instinctively, he folded his arms tight across his chest, doing what he could to conserve body heat. Brr, it's cold in here. What is this place? Are you blind? It's a freezer. Santa's teeth had already began to chatter. Hardly surprising. The freezer was far too cold for someone dressed as he was. Lotus, however, was an even worse situation. Oh, no way. That's way too cold for me. I'll freeze solid in seconds. Sorry, but I'm afraid I'll have to pass on this one. I'm gonna leave the rest to you. And with that, she ran out of the room. As Lotus left, June came in. Whoa, it's really cold in here. White puffs of steam hovered in front of their faces as they talked. June had already started to shiver. Hey, you don't need to be in here. You had a fever just a little bit ago. You should probably stay outside. We got this. No, I'm fine. My fever's gone now. But... Junpei had scarcely opened his mouth when the thunderous sound of metal upon metal rang out from behind him. In unison, they spun around to find that the door that they had only recently come through was closed. Huh? Junpei rushed to the door. Desperately, he tried to grab hold of the doorknob. Ow! It was cold, beyond cold. Merely touching it was painful. The doorknob had been frozen solid. They quickly deduced that the pipe next to the door had ruptured. Water released by the rupture hit the door and it had frozen instantly. Santa shoved Junpei aside and pounded against the door. Hey, Lotus! You're out there, right? Open the door! She wasted no time in responding. What do you want? What's going on? The door won't open. Try opening it from that side, please? Ugh, fine. If you say so. Hold on. Soon they could hear Lotus on the other side of the door. Ugh. Ah! Ugh. Hopefully she didn't actually sound like that. Then the grunting ceased, and they could hear a light panting, as if from exertion. It's no use. It won't budge. You've got more people in there. You figure it out. It's cold, Lotus. And we're cold. God damn it. Santa was shaking like a newborn deer. June was hugging herself and shivering violently. Even Junpei, with the heaviest clothes of any of them, was clearly feeling cold. With each breath they took, they could feel the cold working its way deeper and deeper into their bodies. Anyway, let's find a way out. If we don't get moving, we're gonna be permanent residents. 2 heads are better than none. I'm sure we'll figure something out. Yeah, you're right. Let's just take a good look around this room, okay? Right. They pushed in close to one another and began to search. We got a door. Anything of note? Hey, we got dry ice. Excellent. Oh no. Jimmy picked up the dry ice with his sleeve as to avoid burning himself. Dry ice is just frozen carbon dioxide, right? Yeah, it is. I wonder how warm it has to get for it to turn back to gas again. Hell if I know. How's that going to help us anyway? Oh, well, I figured we might be able to use it to get out of here. They were about to move on when June spoke up. Carbon dioxide's sublimation point is negative 109 degrees. Any warmer than that, and it'll turn into gas, and any lower, it'll become solid. Junpei looked at her, dumbfounded. How do you know that? Tee. Despite my looks, I am the queen of random knowledge. Looks bad to mess up when you're showing off. Hargle murph mumble mumble. Oh, you're so cold your mouth's going numb? Yuff. With what? Oh, you're just doing that on purpose now, aren't you? June giggled and did her best to hide her guilt. At least she was still feeling good enough to joke around, Junpei told himself. Come on, guys. Don't you think that's kind of weird? Wonder why it doesn't turn into liquid first. Santa was now shivering at an astonishing rate, but his curiosity seemed unaffected. Junpei, however, was not in the mood to discuss science. He went out of the freezer now, or it did strike Junpei as rather odd. All right, so we know that June's going to talk a lot if we do this one. So, let's see what June has to say, shall we? It did seem rather odd to Junpei, and he couldn't help but think about it. June, of course, answered. But it can turn into a liquid. Carbon dioxide turns into a liquid if it's put under high enough pressure. But at 1 atmosphere, normal air pressure. It won't turn into a liquid, right? That's right. Instead of melting, it'll do what's called sublimation and change immediately from a solid state to a gaseous one. See, that's weird. Water's a liquid between 32 degrees and 212 degrees. So why isn't that the case for carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide? Those are different things. June replied with an answer that stunned both of them. There's a kind of ice that doesn't turn into liquid when it goes above 32 degrees. Huh? I heard about it. Its melting point is 96 degrees. Ice with a melting point of 96 degrees? You mean there's water that freezes at 96 degrees? Yeah. Well, you could almost look at it as ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees. Water that freezes at 96 degrees? Ice that won't melt until it's 96 degrees? Junpei was cold as hell, but this was just too interesting to ignore. He did his best to warm up, rubbing his arms and stamping his feet, and then put the question to June. So, what's with this ice with a melting point of 96 degrees called? I heard it's called Ice 9. Ice 9? Ooh, the Inquisical music's playing. Originally, Ice 9 was a made-up substance invented by a science fiction author. But recently, scientists have discovered that such a substance actually exists. Wait, hold up. So, this thing called Ice 9, or is it water? Like I said, if it's ice, if the ice is over 96 degrees, it'll be a liquid. If it's under that, it'll solidify. So you could think of it as a polymorph of H2O. Here, think of it like diamonds and graphite. They're both made of carbon, right? But depending on the structure of the crystallization, the hardness and the structure are completely different. So you're saying that normal water and this Ice 9 are a lot alike? Yep. She wasn't finished. Have you heard the story about the crystallization of glycerin? For 150 years after the discovery of glycerin, people cooled it, warmed it, and did all sorts of things to it. But whatever they did, it never crystallized. However, one day in 1920, some glycerin that was en route to England by ship was discovered to have crystallized during the trip. Naturally, scientists worldwide wanted to research this new crystallized form of glycerin and began asking for samples of the seed. A seed, of course, is a sample of an original crystallized substance. With a seed crystal, further crystallization of glycerin would be a simple matter. However, something very strange happened. Not only did the glycerin encouraged by seed crystals begin to crystallize, nearby samples did as well. It didn't end there. After that day, all glycerin in the world began to crystallize naturally when cooled to less than 64 degrees. Before that day, no matter how glycerin was cooled, it refused to crystallize. But once crystallization had began, it was almost like, how do you put it? It was almost like all the glycerin in the world was communicating. Communication in some way we can't sense. Junpei was impressed, or was annoyed. We're gonna say impressed. Let's go, June. Junpei was honestly impressed. It was, in fact, a pretty interesting story. Wow. That's pretty interesting. But, what does that have to do with Ice 9? To his surprise, it was Santa and not June who answered. What she's saying is that it's a lot like Ice 9. What happens, I mean? A lot like, well, that would be bad. If water everywhere started freezing at 96 degrees, oh man, it'd be the end of the world. Junpei felt that Santa might not be treating the idea of the end of the world with proper concern. At any rate, we're not going to have to worry about the end of the world unless we can get out of here pretty damn quick. Ah, he was right. Junpei shivered. All right, guys. I think that's enough of that. I don't think we'd get quite this far off topic. I mean, I know I'm kind of at fault here, but we can't be screwing around anymore. Seriously. I might go by the name Santa right now, but I didn't grow up in Iceland. Freaking hate the cold. So let's get cracking, all right? We gotta find a way out of here. Santa stopped off, clearly doing his best to pretend the cold wasn't affecting him. Selfish, isn't he? Thought Junpei to himself. Still, Santa was right. It was high time they got back to their search. The story of Ice 9 had him interested, but there'd be a time to think about that once they'd gotten out of the freezer. Junpei looked at June, nodded, and resumed his search of the room. All right. There's some frozen meat up there. Looks like pork. Huh? What's this? Looks like a tag or something. Hey, a frozen chunk of pork. Anything else in here that we needed? Oh, yeah, frozen chicken, apparently, for your frozen chicken needs. Nothing else, but we got the frozen chicken. Let's look in here. Hey, we got some sturdy rope. There's so much stuff in here. Why don't we take some of it out, Jumpy? Right, now then, I think that's all. Anything else of note? There isn't anything else in here that looks useful. All right, let's put some stuff together, shall we? Not that one. There we go. All right, so we have chunk of pork, which we'll need for later. We have sturdy rope, so let us combine that with this bottle. Nope, apparently not. Oh, we need to go with... So we have knife and dry ice. So let us break up the dry ice if we can. Nope. Let's bludgeon the dry ice with that chicken, maybe. We gotta start building something here. Are we freezing? All right, so we have dry ice combined with chicken. There we go. All right, the dry ice is in pieces now. Sweet. Now we have the dry ice crumpled, so let's take this, put it with the water bottle. I'm gonna put these pieces of dry ice into the water bottle. Ooh, water bottle with dry ice in it. Now we take this with the rope, and let's just tie a rope on here. Woo, we have a water bottle bomb, baby. That seems safe. All right, out of this we go. Now, if you take the water bottle bomb and we attach it to the door handle, warm water dripped from the ruptured pipe near the door. Junpei pulled out the water bottle filled with dry ice, let a good amount of the water fall in, and then quickly sealed it tight. The makeshift bomb was complete. He tightened the doorknob as quickly as he could, managing the cold. All right, that's set. So, what do we do now? We just need to give it a little, tap? Water ball's already about to pop. If we just throw a rock or something at it, it'll go off all on its own. A small rock. Junpei looked down at the floor. Scattered across it were pieces of dry ice left over from the large chunk he'd crushed earlier. All right, this ought to do the trick. He pulled the sleeve down over his hand to keep from getting burned and grabbed the chunk of dry ice. It was a pretty good size. About as big as a pool ball. That is a pretty good size. Wow. He figured it would be just about the right size. All right, guys, stand back. Actually, we should probably hide somewhere. Both Santa and June looked at him with a new concern. Where exactly do you expect us to hide, genius? There isn't really anywhere big enough. Oh yeah, there it is. Look, right here. We can hide in here. Junpei pulled open the door to the small cellar. Come on, get inside, quick. Santa and June nodded and jumped down into the hole. Junpei quickly followed. In his hand, he could feel the chill of the frozen carbon dioxide, even through his sleeve. He tightened his grip, took aim, and prepared to throw. All right, here it goes. 3, 4, 5. You're counting the wrong way. Oops. That's a real sad excuse for a joke, man. Sorry, dude. All right, for real this time. You guys ready? Yes. Yes, whenever you're ready. Just throw the damn thing. All right, here I go. 3, 2, 1. Junpei threw the chunk of dry ice as hard as he could. With the same motion, he ducked down into the cellar with Santa and June, just as Junpei leapt out of the cellar and ran to the door. Jumpy! The ice on the door, is it gone? Yeah, it's gone. The blast must have shattered it. All right, let's see if it opens now. Junpei grabbed the knob and pushed with all his might. Oh, the door gave way easily, and all three of them tumbled out of the freezer at once. Hooray! Oh, we're out! June, relieved, collapsed onto the floor. Move! Santa shoved past June and ran straight to the grill, which he immediately grabbed. Ow! God damn it! Hot, 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 hot! Fuck! He proceeded to kick the grill in a futile but amusing fit of rage. But where was Lotus? It took Junpei only a moment to find her. She was sitting on the counter, idly scratching her chest. Welcome back. I was starting to get tired of waiting for you guys. With a great yawn, Lotus lowered herself off the counter. Junpei clenched his teeth and walked straight towards her. What were you doing? What do you mean, what was I doing? I was waiting. We were gonna die. Oh, yeah? But you didn't, so everything worked out all right, didn't it? What the hell? Just kidding. Might not look like it, but I was really worried. Don't give me that crap. I'm telling the truth. I mean, if you died, then I'd be in trouble too. If you died, then I'd be stuck here, and I'd just die too. See? I did all I could. Even looking around to see if there was anything I could use to pry open the door. But I couldn't find anything. So all I could do was wait. I mean, what else did you want me to do? Call the cops? It was true that there wasn't much she could have done, but something about her tone. Junpei gritted his teeth. Fine. But there's one thing I have to ask you. What's that? You didn't close the door, did you? What? You think I closed the door on you? Why would I do something like that? It closed on its own. I told you before, if you die, then I die too. She was right, and Junpei knew it. Without them, she'd be in very serious trouble. It seems like that an accident was the only explanation for the door's closure. If Lotus had really wanted to kill them, all she would have had to do was bar the door from the outside. But she hadn't. Well, she hadn't actually done anything. The most she was guilty of was laziness, or negligence, but not attempted murder. Junpei swallowed his anger and did his best to apologize. Well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I doubted you. Oh, yes, well, that's all right, as long as you understand. Lotus looked away and twirled her hair between her fingertips. His vengeance against the grill complete, Santa swaggered back towards Junpei and Lotus. Hey, no more screwing around, you two. Break time's over, especially for you, lady. You've just been sitting on that fat ass of yours while we've been freezing to death. How rude. I was plenty busy. Yeah? How about you put all that energy into something besides bitching? Let's go. Dang. Well, hey, now we got that grill up and working, right? We have that frozen piece of pork over here with something inside of it. Chunk of pork. Guess I'll put the meat on the grill. Woohoo! Hey, what are you doing? What are you going to do if the paper burns? Oh, come on, it'll be fine. It's not like we're going to burn right away, right? You just got to keep an eye on it and the paper will be fine. Well, they can argue all they want. I'm going to keep an eye on this pork. Cool, looks like it's about time. I'm going to try taking the paper out. Jumpy, be careful. Oh, sweet of her to care, but I know what I'm... Ow! See, I told you. What the hell were you doing? Hurry up and take the paper out. It's not coming out. This thing's frozen stiff. I can't get it out. So, are we gonna have to cut the meat? Yeah, it looks that way. Woohoo! Good thing we have that knife. Alright, now that I've sharpened the knife, yes, I got the pork. Awesome, Junpei. Now we can cut out the paper. Woohoo! Ooh, C plus 10. Is that plus F? Or minus F? Plus F. Interesting. Okay, cool. Pork note. C plus 10 plus F. Sweet. So then I bet you that is our code for this down here. Woohoo! So C plus 10 plus F. So then C would be in hexadecimal. So it's... Alright, cool. Let's enter it slowly then. This is probably what's supposed to use for enter the password. If we put the right numbers in, it'll open the oven door. Jimmy, maybe the note you found earlier? Yeah, I know. Do you know how to enter those numbers? I think the E is for enter and C is for clearing. So basically when I'm ready to submit my answer, I press E. So if I screw up, I can press C, right? Lotus nodded. All right, let's give it a shot. Sweet. Okay, so then, if it is... So it's 12... 16... Oh no! Oh, so it's, okay. So I need to do 12 plus 16 plus 15. So it is 43. There we freaking go! Alright. Sounds like metal is falling. Well, I guess that went well. Woohoo! Hey, yes! The door opened. Good job, Jumpy. Ooh, we got the Saturn key card. And we needed that for something else earlier, didn't we? The elevator had the Saturn symbol on it? Yes! I think it's unlocked now. You did it, Jumpy! Let's get out of here. Woohoo! Let's go! Yes! Let's go! That is quite the door creak. But we found it! Alright. Woo! Let's roll. They stepped out of the kitchen and into a hallway that looked rather familiar. A metal grate stretched from the wall to wall. Beyond it were 2 elevators and the entrance to the kitchen. They had entered the kitchen from one door and came out the other. That meant their map of the ship's interior was accurate. They laid the map out in front of them and began to discuss their next steps. There were 4 possible routes: A, B, C, and D. First, A and B. A and B both seemed to connect to an L-shaped room. However, the 2 doors that led to that room were both locked and could not be opened. The next was Route C. This goes all the way to the main staircase. That means it's door 5, one of the numbered doors. Then do you think we'd meet up with the other 4 after this hallway? No, I don't think we will. Why not? Look, there by the stairs. See how the gate is opened? When we went into the kitchen, it was closed, but it's open now. What do you think that means? That they opened it. Most likely. Then if we take Route C, we're going backwards. That would be pointless. Then that means... All 4 looked at the map. They all looked at the staircase, its lazy curve leading down deeper into the ship. Route D, then. D it is. Yep, Route D. Then we're all set. They jogged down the stairs until they reached the C deck. Just to be sure, they kept going to check the deck beneath. Yeah, just like I thought. D deck is totally underwater. Just like the bottom of the central staircase. The water gazed back at them, its smooth surface like a great mirror. As ominous as it was, Junpei took at least some comfort in the fact the level hadn't gone up much since the last he'd seen it. They turned back to C deck. It didn't take them long to find the 2 elevators in front of the stairs. Ooh, look at that. They looked identical to the elevators on the top floor, with one exception. These elevators had a card reader on the wall between them. On the card reader was a strange mark. Hey, it's Lotus's symbol. Uh-huh. See, it's the woman's symbol with a thorn on it. That seems like... Ow, 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 ow. Lotus had taken hold of Junpei's hair. She began to shake him violently, and he thought he'd heard a low growl coming from her throat. Such violence. Junpei began to wonder if she was not the devil itself. With an uncomfortable smile, June spoke up. This is the Mercury symbol. The thorn symbolizes the wings of Hermes' staff. Hermes, Herpes, whatever. If we can't get this thing to work, then these elevators aren't going anywhere. In other words, we need a key card with the Mercury symbol on it. Probably. They give up on the elevators and return to the stairs. A hallway stretched out to the left. A great many doors lined both sides of the hallway. They weren't sure how many, but certainly enough to be discouraging. Damn it, if we try to search all these, the sun's gonna go down before we're done half of them. I think the sun's already set. I have a feeling the ship is the only thing that's going to be going down anytime soon. That's even worse! Well, we can come back to this hallway later. Let's check the hallway on the other side, shall we? Frustration and fear building, they walked back to the stairs. To their right was a small hallway. Quickly, they headed into it. It was approximately the same size as the alcove in front of the stairs. The hallway leading towards the stern, at the end, was a set of double doors. Let's open it. Junpei nodded and grabbed the one closest to him. He gave it a small tug and felt it move. It was unlocked. Thrilled to have found an unlocked door, he threw it open. Junpei didn't know what to make of what he saw. He simply stood, unable to speak. The others simply stared, open-mouthed. After a few long moments, Santa managed to speak. What the hell is this? A massive room stretched out in front of them, more a cavern than a room. Its vastness was oppressive, and it bore down on the four companions. It was not empty, however. The entire room was filled with lines upon lines of beds. They were simple things, little more than a pipe and thin mattress. Is this a hospital? He had had less than being able to put a name to it, the harsh scent that pervaded the room. The room swam with the harsh, biting smell of antiseptic. In the center of the room were shelves stacked with medicines, and a number of medical devices, the function of which Junpei did not know. More importantly, however, on the back of the wall of the room were 4 doors. 3 of them were emblazoned with large, single-digit numbers made with thick, red paint. The door on the left was labeled 3. The second door from the left had no number, but the third was given a 7. And the rightmost door at the end had an 8. Could be no doubt they were numbered doors. It did strike Junpei as strange, however, that the door between 3 and 7 should be blank. What, he wondered, could it mean? Let's take a look at the doors. Yes, that sounds like a good plan. Junpei headed towards the doors, weaving his way between the beds. He started with door 3 on the left, and then moved on the right until he reached door 8. Uh-oh. They're all locked, it would seem, as expected. It's no use. Well, of course. If it was that easy to open these doors, then what would be the point of the nonary game? We have to activate the red, or the numbered doors won't... Wait a minute. What's wrong? Look, the display on the red. There's nothing on it. Huh? Don't you remember the red at the central staircase? If no one was inside, it said vacant. Oh yeah, you're right. But this one... There's nothing on it. Right? I wonder if it's broken. Only one way to find out. Nothing. 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 Oh, and still nothing. It didn't respond. All 4 took turns placing their hands over the red, but it refused to respond. They pulled at the lever, and still it did nothing. As they soon discovered, it wasn't only the red for door 8 that was behaving strangely. The red on door 7 also refused to respond. And door 3 was similarly silent. None of them would respond. What did it mean? Ha! I knew it. They're broken. Zero sure sucks at maintenance. No, that's impossible. You really think Zero, who prepared all of this, would make such a stupid, simple mistake? Maybe, but that doesn't explain why this ain't working. It was at that moment they heard a voice from behind them. I believe the bottom of the vise has been removed. They spun around to see. A snake! Snake! But it was more than just Snake. Ace, Clover, and 7 quickly filed into the room as well. Although they were glad to see one another, it wasn't terribly surprising that they had. If it had been the other party who had opened the gate in front of the kitchen, it wasn't unreasonable that they would bump into each other eventually. The rest of Snake's team, however, did look rather surprised. How? How did you end up here? After a moment of silence and surprise, everyone suddenly began talking, desperate to exchange information. They talked about the rooms they'd been through and how they'd ended up in the same place. Of course, none of it was very useful information, but that hardly mattered. They were happy simply to see one another again. Although the level of cheer varied greatly from person to person, each one of them was wearing some manner of smile. Almost as if they had already forgotten about the death of the ninth man. Oh, grisly. No, thought Junpei, perhaps that wasn't it. Perhaps thoughts of his death were what drove them to smile at one another. Not in a morbid or hateful way. No, the ninth man had died. But they were still alive, and that was something they were to be happy about. A sort of simple, uncomplicated joy, Junpei thought. The joy of being alive. Still alive. He felt sorry for the ninth man, but more than anything, Junpei was just happy to be alive. There you have it, our half of the story. His part finished, Ace fell silent. For a moment, Junpei was silent in thought. Actually, let us... Alright guys, I think we're going to cut it here for today. Now that we've met up with the other team again, we'll see what they have to say next time. And we'll carry on. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me today. This was Scotty J, signing off. See you next time. Bye-bye. Hey, look at that. Woot. See ya.